very pleased to receive our special guest today, Andrew Mac Afee. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're the principal scientist at the MIT Sloan School of Management. You investigate on how computerization affects competition, society, the economy, and the workforce. It's this last concept we are going to discuss now, the workforce. So we keep announcing for 2 decades the era of robots, robots that are going to take over human works. Are we really on the eve of this new age?
So we've been saying it for longer than 2 decades, for 2 centuries.
2 centuries.
People have been saying that the workers are about to lose their jobs because of this amazing new technology. And the new technology was the steam engine, and then it was the railroad, and then it was the electric motor, and then it was the telephone. So over and over again, we've had people saying, right around the corner is this era of huge technological unemployment. And they've been wrong. They've been completely wrong. For 200 years, we've had this amazing phenomena where even as the population expands, more people have jobs, the jobs get better, the wages go up, and it's been this beautiful pattern that gave countries like France and the US a large, stable, prosperous middle class. It's one of the most important achievements of our societies. Now, the question is this time different? And the only honest answer is nobody knows, but I think this time might actually be different, and we need to start taking that idea seriously. Because for the very first time, we have technologies that can do things like drive vehicles, understand human speech, write good, clean prose in French or English, translate between languages, not perfect quality, but okay quality. We've got computers that are better than humans at recognizing patterns, at answering questions. There was a recent demonstration where an artificial intelligence system got better scores on a standard IQ test than the average university graduate.
So this is a very good news for you, or it's too early to tell
Well,
it?
we have to keep in mind, this is extremely good news. I think this is the best economic news on the planet. Unfortunately, there's not much competition for the best economic news on the planet. But tech progress is the best economic news on the planet because it gives all of us access to more goods and services, to better healthcare, to more educational options, to entertainment and communication, to goods and services, to all the things that we need to live a good, healthy life. Tech progress lets us have more of those. And it lets that progress happen and that abundance happen even at lower levels of income. So it's fantastic news. The challenge that we have is that in the industrial era, the bargain was that most of us earned our living by offering our labor to a company, to an employer. And that bargain, I think, is changing. And it's not going to change tomorrow or in the next 3 or 5 years. But I think over the next generation or 2, we're actually going to see an incredibly productive, abundant economy that does not need as much human labor as the industrial economy did.
Could we be sure new jobs are going to emerge, and in which sectors?
There are absolutely going to be new jobs that we can't think of yet. So my favorite example is data scientist. It's a job that's very popular these days, very well paid. I don't think the term existed 10 years ago. So there will absolutely be new jobs, ones that you and I can't predict sitting here. The question is, will there be enough of them? Will there be jobs that are available to people at different levels of skill and education? And I want to be clear, there are going to be lots of jobs. Uber driver was a job that did not exist 10 years ago. That's a job that's available to somebody without a lot of education. So technology will create jobs, will create wages. I am just not sure it's going to do it at a level that leads to full employment like we had earlier.
We all agree to say that young generation should be trained to face this new society. What would you recommend in terms of education?
Everyone says that. It's actually very hard to do. How do you educate somebody so that they can keep learning throughout their life, so that they can be more flexible and adaptive? I don't know exactly. What I do know is that the way we are educating people right now is not very good at achieving those goals. So I think our educational system is pretty good at turning out the kinds of citizens and the kinds of workers we needed 50 years ago. Well, we don't need those kinds of people anymore. We need to deeply rethink education and apply a lot of energy toward understanding how do we educate somebody to survive and thrive in this world that we're creating.
On one side, corporate profits have never been higher, but on the other side, labor returns have never been lower. What can we do about it?
And you bring up this really interesting phenomena that in the United States anyway, corporate profits as a percent of GDP are the highest they've ever been as far as we can tell. But the amount of GDP that gets paid out in wages is going down. It's going down very quickly. That's another challenge. What I don't want to do is just say, well, we need to tax the wealthy so heavily that everyone else is suddenly better off. I am in favor of higher tax rates on the top earners, but what I don't want to do is raise them so high that they change incentives, they change behaviors, and they turn off the innovation. So I'm a lot more concerned about what do we do for the worker at the 50th percent, at the 25th percent. I'm not as concerned about what do we do about the 0.01%.
Last question, could technology be the guarantee of a fulfilling career?
I think technology can be part of a guarantee of a fulfilling life. And we need to rethink what we mean by career, because the old notion that we have, where you get educated, you get a job, maybe you change jobs a couple times over your career, that's going to be around for a while, but I think I'm going to live to see something very different, where our lives are not nearly as focused on a career, on a job, on labor, as they need to be right now. And again, if we make the right decisions, that should be extremely good news.
Andrew Mac Afee, thank you very much. Thank you for your time, for your feedback.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.